You didn't grow up with Mr. Rogers, did you?
No, I was
Because you were like a teenager?
I was too old. Mr. Rogers, he came on in '67. I was 11 years old. I remember thinking, are these puppets, the mouths didn't move, right? They were just, are they communicating with us telepathically?
It's like, what's happening?
Well, here we are. Well, I am King Friday the 13th. I could not get past the
Well, you were a little
lack of
older.
animatronic quality to it.
Yeah.
And I was older. I knew how the world worked, so I was already cynical by the time Mr.
I just
Rogers
was saying,
came
I think when you're older and you're kind of, if you're already going through that, like puberty said, you're like too cool maybe for it.
If you kind of know how the world works, you know,
Yeah.
when you learn that there are jerks in the world,
Yeah.
you're too old for
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers.
I feel like when you have so much negativity and then you have something like that to watch, like, that was so healthy.
Most adults on TV were trying to sell you toys,
Yeah.
you know, or introducing the Three Stooges.
They weren't trying to help you
know,
emotionally.
Boing, ow, boing, ow. You know, not exactly the Mr. Rogers influence. Because according to the TV shows I watched as a kid, you could stick a bellows in somebody's mouth, pump it up, and they would float up to the top of the
well,
barn.
that sounds fun too, though.
It was.
I'm down for both of
Oh,
those parties.
Oh, look! And that's what I grew up on. A frying pan with the shape of Curly Joe's head. You know.
I like both of those because I also grew up on Lucille Ball. I loved it.
You know, it's funny. Lucille Ball is playing somewhere on TV right now around the world.
I know, she's always on.
At 11 o'clock in the morning, I Love Lucy is on.
Yes.
Do you not watch it?
It's one of the things
do.
I can't not.
This show has been on TV for 50 years.
And I've seen
it
the
500.
episode.
I know
Yeah.
exactly what
Yeah.
it is. Oh, she's got a roller skate and sell
Yep.
mayonnaise in like a newspaper boy. I know them all.
What do you think, like, is too far, like with a nice neighbor? Because you want to be neighbors, but at the same time, like, it could go too far to where you're like, you've crossed the line. Like, I don't do airport shuttles.
If someone says, hey, I got a plane. Can I ask you a favor? George Wallace, the comedian, had this thing. When you got a call from a friend, says, hey, can I ask you a favor? You knew what you were going to be doing. You were driving to the airport. You were going to take that person to the airport. And it was all no matter what time. And the horrible thing was when they wouldn't do it for you.
Reciprocate it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you gave somebody a ride to the airport, they owed you a ride to the airport.
Oh.
And if you called them up and said, time's up, I need a ride to the airport, and if they had any excuse, off the Christmas list just
Oh my
like
God,
that.
I'm off the Christmas. I hate.
Oh, you have a job. You won't be in town.
I
or
think
you
real
can't.
friends and real family do not ask you to do airport shuttles. That's love.
Well, that's the other aspect of it. Well, now it's like Uber and Lyft. I said, dude, you're on your own.
I literally, my sister came in yesterday and I was like, yes, I've got you a nice car coming to get you. I have 2 shows tomorrow.
Or how about
so,
this? I'll be happy to give you a ride to the airport for $47 and a 20% tip and a 5-star review. You got me. I'm right there. Let's
I'm
turn this
amazing.
into a business
5
thing.
stars.
Yeah, 5 stars.
That's amazing. Okay. You have played real life heroes, characters that are kind of based off of real people. Like, you've done some really hardcore characters. I'm wondering, because Castaway obviously wasn't like based off of someone, you know, that really got
But it was a
cast
real
away.
circumstance.
But it was a
yeah.
real circumstance.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, is it harder to play the fiction when it's like that, or is it harder to play the real?
I will tell you that when you play, first of all, you play somebody alive. Like
Yeah.
I played a number really. I like
Yeah,
Sully
yeah,
Sullenberger.
yeah.
I went to Sully's house, and he had the script with all sort of notes on it saying, "What does this mean? And how can you say that?" I said, "Look.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm not the boss. Secondly, that's
I didn't write this.
I didn't write this.
Yeah.
I'm a gun for hire. But understand this: I'm going to say things you never said, and I'm going to do things you never did. I'm going to be places you never were.
It's a movie.
But in spite of that, I'd like to be as correct as possible. I'd like to be authentic as possible. And there are things that you can you can end up sliding in. Like for example, Captain Sully told me there was a scene in which me and Aaron Eckhart in the play to the cockpit were having chit chat.
Yeah.
And he said, you can't have chit-chat in the cockpit like that. Once the plane rolls away from the gate, you are not allowed to have any conversation other than with the tower or about the flight. And I found that out, and I said, oh, well, if we just switch it to before we pulled out, it'll be okay. So, well, yeah.
I want to say thank you so much. For a kid that grew up on Mr. Rogers, you did such a great job.
Well, thanks.
I will not stop talking until you subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's right, and I can talk a lot. Seriously, not gonna stop. Yep, still here, not going anywhere. I see you. Don't walk away from this.